A lot of my childhood has holes in it. I don't really remember. I remember pretty much the traumatic things more than the good things. Um, I don't even think I could tell you one good thing about my childhood, to be honest with you. Growing up, I lived with my grandparents and my father. My parents were never married. They split when I was probably about one. My father had a drinking problem, and then I soon found out that he had a drug problem. I was always pretty concerned, so sometimes I would go through his drawers to make sure, or search some of his things, and I would find little baggies that looked like cocaine or heroin. And then when I would say something to him, he never admitted to me. Said it wasn't his, lied to me all the time. My mother, she wasn't really in the picture. She tried to see me when I was younger, but my father really didn't want that. He didn't want me around her because she had a drug problem, but he had a drug problem. Some days that she would try to come get me, he would beat her in front of me. And that picture just doesn't leave your head. I saw a lot of things that I shouldn't have. I have seen things that I don't even think I should see now at my age. I went to parties with him because that was my dad, and I didn't want to be without him. I think I would be the only kid there. He would be drunk and doing whatever, and there were some parties where I just couldn't find him, and I was alone, and I can't imagine the things that could have happened to me.
Is what you will see in a movie 10 times worse, because they're experiencing this right then and there. There's no way to sugarcoat it or bring it down a level. It's very, very intense. Because when a person is high, especially using opioids, they're wonderful at reducing depression, anxiety, and one of the problems of why people become addicted is they take those feelings away, and for some period of time, they might function better, if you would. They're very patient, they're very understanding, they're caring, they're doing great at their job, they're being great at a mom, they're sitting down helping with the homework. But as soon as those drugs wear off or the supply is no longer there, they're a monster. So that child or loved one is seeing this emotional roller coaster. 1 hour, mom this is great, we're doing things together and everything. And next, I can't find her, she's on the couch, she's crying, and going through withdrawal. So I don't know what mom I'm getting today. And that has to be extremely difficult to experience.
So I think kids come to school sort of not having their anchor of stability and praise at home, and never knowing sometimes what they're returning to or who they're returning to or if they're returning to anybody. So that type of anxiety for any of us, much less someone that's growing up and needing some stability, can only put the kid at sort of not the right place to just confidently absorb learning and do what they're supposed to do in school.
School's not important. Survival is important at that point. They're not worried about their science tests. Am I going to go home? Is mom going to be there? Is dad going to be there? Are they going to be drunk? Are they going to be passed out? Do I have to cook myself dinner? Do I have to find money? In some situations, students are finding the drugs for mom or dad.
I've had many students at school worried about mom or dad at home, knowing that, mom OD'd the night before on heroin and she doesn't know how she's doing today and is scared she's not going to be alive when she gets home. So they spend their whole school day, stressed out, upset because they're worried about what they're going to find when they get in the door. And if everything's okay, then they get in the door and they don't have a parent that's asking how their day is, having them get their homework done, do, positive activities. They miss it from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. And mom might be passed out on the couch the whole time they're home, so no one tells them to go to bed, no one tells them, and I have kids that stay up till 2 in the morning and are expected to come to school the next day because no one is helping them figure out and structure their lives. It's tragic. It's hard to see students, especially who I think would do well, but there's so many of these kids that I know there's so much there for them in the future, but because of the life that they're living and what they've been exposed to, they might not make it, and it's just tragic.